Hi Year 2 and welcome to today's topic lesson. In today's topic lesson we're going to be finding out about a famous artist and his name is Andy Warhol. So today our learning is to discover who Andy Warhol is. Our focus is to find out who Andy was and discover why his artwork was so famous. So the assessment will be to recreate a piece of his artwork and send it to me on the Google Classroom. So let's carry on and find out who Andy Warhol is. And we're going to do that by showing you a really short video clip.
Like the actress Marilyn Monroe, in the 1950s, she was one of the most famous and beautiful film stars in the whole world, and everyone wanted to know everything about her.
I fancy going to meet a real celebrity.
Make a bit of room, will you, Marilyn? Marilyn Monroe was a superstar. She had platinum blonde hair, deep eyeshadow, and thick red lips that everyone wanted to kiss. If they'd had the internet then, she would have been the top story every day. Now this painting could have just been called Marilyn, but in fact, it's called Marilyn Diptych, which means it has two halves. Because unfortunately, Marilyn died when she was very young. And maybe that's why the second half feels sadder. The image is fading away, as if it represents both her life and the memory of her. And today, these pictures of Marilyn Monroe are as famous as she was. They were made by an artist called Andy Warhol, who was living in New York and surrounded by celebrities. Everyone was already listening to the new popular, or pop, music. Now Warhol helped to create pop art. He did this by making art from objects that people saw around them every day, like cereal boxes, or soup tins, or pictures of Marilyn Monroe. So when Marilyn died, Andy Warhol decided immediately to make a portrait of her using this famous photograph. But he didn't just want to make one portrait of her. He made another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and yeah, he made loads. It looks more like an advert, doesn't it, on a wall? It's not surprising, because Warhol used a printing technique that was big in advertising. He pulled inks through a screen mesh using a rubber squeegee. This meant he could quickly produce the same image on lots of different canvases over and over and over again. He used big, bright colors to grab our attention and to make us look at the color of the eyes, the hair, and the lips. Soon, Warhol was making so many pictures, he had to hire assistants and move to a big new space called the factory. And he did all this to show how Marilyn could start to look like anything else made in a factory. It's like me. I'm a person. I've got feelings. But if you were to see my face over and over again in block colors, I would start to look just like the outside of a cereal packet or a magazine cover. Warhol did what artists had been doing for hundreds of years. He made us look at things we know in a new way. Because what I know is there's a real person in this photograph. Yet the more I look at it, the less I can seem to find of her. So maybe Warhol wanted to show us that we don't really know who Marilyn Monroe was after all. We only know her as a celebrity. And fame and celebrity don't last forever. We're used to seeing celebrities' faces everywhere nowadays. On t-shirts, on television, online, on our phones.
Okay, so that is who Andy Warhol was. So he was famous for creating pop art. Now, pop art is where you have an image and it's repeated lots of times on the same piece of paper. So he used a technique called screen printing to create lots of the same image. And he often changed the colours. And when I show you some of his work a bit later on, you'll notice they're really bright and vibrant colours. So Andy used bright colours, just like I've just said, and he used repeated patterns in his images. So what do you notice about the colours in this portrait of Marilyn Monroe? Let's just give you a couple of seconds to have a think about that. Okay, so what I notice are the bright, vibrant colours, so the bright hair, the bright eyeshadow, the bright lipstick. So when you come to think about your pop art a little bit later on this afternoon, you might want to think about the bright colours that you've got in your house that you might be able to use. So he used repeated images of famous people in different colours to recreate some of his most famous portraits. So as you can see here, it's the same image, but he's changed it very slightly by changing the colours that he used. So if he was alive today, who do you think would be a good famous person for him to make a portrait of? So who's one of your famous celebrities? Why are they important to you? Maybe you could discuss this with your adult at home, and maybe it could be this celebrity that you choose to create your piece of pop art on this afternoon. It doesn't have to be. It just might be a nice idea to inspire your pop art. Okay, so what I would like you to do this afternoon, now we know who Andy Warhol is, I would like you to create a piece of your very own pop art. So you can use whatever you've got at home. So it might be the back of a cereal box that you use for the cardboard. You may have some canvases at home that you might want to use. It might just be a piece of plain paper. But what I'd like you to do with that is to split it into 4 different sections. In the first section, I will show you an example at the end of this video. I'm just explaining it just for a moment. In the first section, I would like you to choose your famous person or an object or a food item to draw in that box. I would then like you to choose some really bright, vibrant colours. And with those bright, vibrant colours, I want you to colour in the famous person or the food item. It doesn't have to be the colours that those things would normally be. It's a piece of art. Express yourself. Use the colours that you want to use and create that first image. Then I would like you to draw the exact same image and colour it in bright, nice, vibrant colours again. Repeat it for a 3rd time, repeat it for a 4th time, and create your very own piece of pop art. Now, if you carry on watching the video, I'm going to demonstrate one to you. I'll do the first one kind of normal speed, and then I'll kind of speed it up so you can see how my pop art was created. So when you get to the end of this video, start to create your own. Either hand them in on the Google Classroom. It is much easier when you hand things in on the Google Classroom for us to be able to mark, or put them on your Class Dojo portfolio. If you're still unsure how to do that, please contact Mr. Croxon and he will be able to help you. It's much easier to be able to reply and keep an eye on who's handing work in on your portfolio or the Google Classroom rather than an individual message. Okay, so have fun with this piece of pop art and I'll show you now what mine was going to look like. Enjoy! So as you can see here, I've got a piece of paper, a ruler and a pencil, and I'm just going to split my piece of paper into 4 equal parts, so into quarters. Remember to hold your ruler nice and tight like we've taught you in maths. Then I need to decide what picture I'm going to do, and I decided to draw a heart. I thought with Valentine's coming up, it would be the perfect picture to draw. Once I've drawn one of my pictures, I need to choose a very vibrant colour. So as you can see, I chose the colour orange. I'm going to colour in my heart and making sure I'm colouring all in one direction, and I'm making sure that I don't leave any white bits on the heart. So I'm just going to carry on colouring my heart until the whole heart is finished. Remember to take as much time with your colouring as you need to make sure it's the best piece of artwork that you can possibly do. So as you can see here, I'm just coming to the end of my heart, and now I need to decide what to do with the background. You can colour the background in one colour, you could make it stripy, but actually what I chose to do was draw lots of green circles to make a nice spotty background. So I'm just going to draw circles all over the background until it's all covered. Remember, at this point I'm only focusing on my first quarter. So once I've finished my first quarter, I then have to repeat the pattern. So I'm going to start off by drawing another heart, colouring it in and adding my dots to the background. I then draw my third one, repeat the process, and my fourth one, repeat the process until my piece of pop art is complete.